Okay, let's get this party started. Y'all ready yet? Yeah! Took y'all so long. Yeah, okay, let me tell you how the format of this discussion is going to go. Each participant, Dr. Haggins and Dr. Muhammad, is going to give a 40-minute presentation. The topic of this discussion is Islam an African religion? Okay? Dr. Muhammad has lectured extensively on this subject. So he's going to give a 40-minute presentation. Dr. Haggins is going to come on and give a 40-minute presentation. At the end of their presentations, they will then have an opportunity to ask each other a question. They'll have 3 questions. They'll have opportunity to ask each other 3 questions in alternating order. And then I'll have 3 questions for each participant in alternating order. And then the participants will close out the discussion, and then we'll, time permitting, open up for audience questions. Don't hold your breath for that part. Only because we're getting started kind of late. So, I want to bring on my brother, Dr. Wesley Muhammad. Intelligent people and secure in what they're doing to come up and do this. That's right. You understand what I'm saying? We gotta really appreciate what this brother's doing, how he's dedicated his life to these studies so that we can clear things up in our mind. Because like I'm saying, you know, we get hit with a lot of information and intentionally try to confuse us. This is all intentional. How they try to confuse you with your spirituality, with your religion, and all of that. So when these brothers come up here and they discuss this with you, like we said before, you know, this used to be a taboo. So now, these brothers are coming forward. So come on, let's put our hands together, more proper for these brothers.
Give it to me. Let him see it. Let him see it.
In the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom my holy praises are forever. I bear witness that he is God. I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is his living and exalted Christ. I further bear witness that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan,
Put the mic up to you.
the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan is God's man in our midst today. In their names I greet you, family. Greeting words of peace, assalamu alaikum. Brother Sutet, Brother Satnetta. Most importantly, my beloved brother, Dr. Ray Haggins. All right. propagate Islam. I am not here to discuss theology. I am here as an historian to present history. Now, undoubtedly, some of the history I present will conflict with some folks' theology. My condolences. Though I do believe, ultimately, history and theology may be reconciled, I will make no attempt to do so tonight. I come strictly to talk history. But Honorable Elijah Muhammad said wisely, of all of our studies, history is most attractive and best qualified to reward our research. If you came to see Dr. Wesley Muhammad and Dr. Ray Haggins engage gladiator style in personal beats disguised as intellectuality, you will be disappointed.
I'll shake.
Dr. Ray Haggins is my brother.
I'll shake.
I honor and respect his efforts to break the religious bonds that still bind us as a people to our slave master, Christian and Muslim slave master. I join you, Brother Ray, in fighting that fight. The question tonight is not, is Islam the true religion of African people? That's a theological question. Right. The question tonight is Islam an African religion? Not the African religion, an African religion. Did Africans create Islam, or did non-African white folks create Islam? That is the question. And I affirm and I will demonstrate tonight that Islam is not a religion created by some white Arabs and imposed on African peoples as a tool of enslavement. Islam is a religion created historically. The historical, traditional, linguistic, archaeological evidence, inscriptional evidence all testifies to the fact that African peoples created Islam. Mamadou Chinyere, in golden age of the Moor, Africans in the birth and expansion of Islam asked the question, ironically, though the origins of Islam are rooted in the African tradition and the growth of the Islamic empire brought forward by the genius and might of African Muslims, as the 20th century comes to a close, Islam is associated more with the Semitic white Arabs. How did this come about? Why do we assume today that Islam is a white Arab religion? Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, and I leave his statement in Arabic for a reason, to send a message. We can't do history if we're unable to gauge the history from the perspective of the primary source material. If you can't read the history of Islam in the primary Arabic text, then stop trying to write the history of Islam. We will never accept folk writing the history of Kemet who cannot engage Kemet from the perspective of the Medinet Church. Stop trying to write the history and pontificate on the history of Islam if you can't engage it from the level of the primary textual sources. Prophet Muhammad said he had a dream. In that dream, he saw black sheep and white sheep. Prophet Muhammad said that he saw the white sheep join in among the black sheep and outnumbered them such that the black sheep were no longer noticeable. Prophet Muhammad said that the meaning of that dream is that those black sheep were his original Arab followers, and that the white sheep were non-Arab foreigners, specifically Persians, Turks, and the 9th century grammarian from Basra, says the Arabs used to take pride in their darkness and blackness, and they had a distaste for a light complexion. And they used to say that a light complexion was the complexion of the non-Arabs. These are the true Arabs. A black Shamar Arab, a black Omani Arab, black Yemeni Arabs. And this is particularly important. This is an image, a painting done in the 19th century by a German traveler throughout North Arabia and Syria. He painted pictures of the local peoples he found there. This is a Hawazin, a man from Banu Hawazin, a tribe from northern Arabia, particular Medina, that one of its subsets is a very important tribe, Banu Hazrat. The Banu Hazrat was the tribe from which the Ansar primarily came. Now, all Muslims and students of Islamic history know that the two most important groups in that early drama, which was the evolution of Islam, was the Muhajirun, the immigrants to Medina, from Mecca to Medina, and the Ansar, the helpers, those in Medina that helped them. Those Ansar were the Banu Hazrat and Banu Al. This is what they look like. This is what the Quraysh look like. This is what the Muhajirun look like. This is what the Ansar look like. Who are these black Arabs? At-Tabari knows. The children of Shem, the Semites, settled in the center of the earth, which is between Satima and the sea, and between Yemen and Syria. Allah made the prophets from them, revealed the books to them, made them beautiful, gave them black complexion, and also gave them a black complexion with a light brownish undertone. The children of Ham settled toward the south. Allah gave them a black complexion and gave some of them a black complexion with a light brownish undertone. The children of Japheth settled in Safan towards the north. They had light skin and very fair skin. In other words, the Arabs are Semites. The black Arabs are black Semites. What do we know of the Semites? Georgia de Omalek, philologist, Semitic philologist from the Department of Semitic Philology, University of Barcelona. In his important work, Questions of Semitic Linguistics. No, Proto-Semites, that group of folk, those original Semites from which derive all the derivative Semitic languages, cultures, and religions. The Proto-Semites form part of a mass of peoples who, moving out from the heart of Africa, spread north and reached the Mediterranean coast and beyond. The Semitic family was the spearhead of one of the expansive movements of peoples towards Asia from the heart of Africa. Those Semites are Africans. They originated in Central Africa, migrated north, crossed over into the Arabian Peninsula. They were black when they left Africa. They were black when they entered Arabia. They were black at the time of Prophet Muhammad. Now, when they got to Arabia, as we call it, they did not leave Africa. They entered only another part of that African homeland. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia says study published by Station International in 1982. Maps and geography books make Arabia a part of Asia. But plant and animal life clearly bear out the theory that it is really an extension of Africa. Saudi Arabia's wildlife is an African complex of species. The animals and plants of northern and northeastern Saudi Arabia are generally closely related to or identical with Saharan species. Not only does the ecology of the Arabian Peninsula indicate that it is but an extension of Africa, the geology and the climatology, as well as the ethnology of Arabia indicates the same. Maurice Otasi, the Arabian Peninsula is the geological extension of Africa. Physically, the peninsula is a part of Africa, landscaped by the same geological and climate processes as the Eastern Sahara tribes. The inhabitants of the Arabian Peninsula, long after the time of Muhammad, shared the appearance of Ethiopians and other sub-Saharan Africans, as well as customs of present-day Africans stretching from the present country of Sudan to Somalia in the east, to Mauritania, Mali, and Nigeria in the west. These are the facts of pre-Islamic and early Islamic Arabia. The blackness of Arabia didn't start with the coming of Muhammad. Arabia was black and the Arabs were black long afterwards, a point I will emphasize in a moment. These are the facts of pre-Islamic and early Islamic Arabia, which is why the Greeks and Romans considered Arabia an extension of Ethiopia, and for Syrians, much of Arabia part of the Sudan, long after the time of the Prophet Muhammad. Although Iranians had settled the Yemen, or south of the peninsula in the centuries immediately preceding the Prophet Muhammad, the Turks, Circassians, mercenaries, concubines, and slaves from all parts of the world had come to settle the land of the true Arabs. Later in Islamic times, large numbers of indigenous peoples of African appearance still occupy the peninsula of Arabia, preserving the indigenous and original Afro-Arab cultures. That is an African cultural complex in Arabia, and it was that African cultural complex that gave birth to Islam. Well, y'all thought I was running from this? Prophet Muhammad. Was he black? Was he a white sheep? Or was he a black sheep? Not theologically, historically. What does historical evidence say? You rectify that with your theology some other time. Maybe I will help you with that. Maybe I will not. A careful examination of history reveals that the Prophet Muhammad was of the black race and was black in complexion. Wayne Chan. Muhammad was in the family of the black race. Dr. Yusuf bin Yaqub. Muhammad himself was, by all accounts, a Negro. J.A. Rogers. Al-Jahiz informs us that Prophet Muhammad's father, Abdullah, and all 9 of his paternal uncles was Dawhan, black. His mother, Amina bint Wahb, was from the Banu Zura, which was a subset of the Qurayshi clan. It was a black clan. The Banu Zura, his mother's tribe, is represented best by Muhammad's maternal uncle, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, a tall black member of Banu Zura. Now, Ibn Arumi in the 9th century, a poet who wrote poetry against the Abbasid dynasty. And those who know my work know that the Abbasid dynasty followed the Umayyad dynasty, which was a black dynasty, a black power dynasty. But the revolution that toppled it and installed the Abbasids initiated the Aryanization, the whitenization of Islam. And Ibn Arumi wrote poetry against them. One of the reasons he criticized them in his poetry, he wrote this to the Abbasid king. Said, you insulted the family of the Prophet Muhammad because of their blackness, while there are still pure-blooded, black-skinned Arabs. However, you are blue. Asra. Blue means white in Arabic, as does red. The Romans, Byzantines have embellished your faces with their color. I want to say this. This is live stream. But one more point. Muhammad al-Baqir, one of the descendants of Prophet Muhammad, one of the imams honored by the Shiites. He was a very dark-skinned Arab, as was his king. He was known as he who resembles because he looked like Prophet Muhammad. Now, I say to the Muslim world, I
are black, if his mama is black and all his maternal uncles are black, if all his first cousins are black, how in the hell is he going to look like that? How did he look like that? This white Muhammad, this Aaronized Muhammad, originated from the same place that white Jesus, that Aryan Jesus originated from. Now, yes, I drop a bomb. I can, by Allah's grace, harmonize the theology. But that's not my subject today. I'm dealing with history and history alone. I'm talking about the re-Arabization of Muhammad. If Muhammad was a pure Arab, as all the sources state, he could only look like this. If he was an Arab, he looked like this. We're talking about re-Arabizing Muhammad because an Arab is a black person. If he was an Arab, he looked like this. Now, some of you may say that's a moot point. Him being black or white, because he didn't exist. My brother, Walter Williams, in his book, Historical Origin of Islam, makes that argument, and I respect my brother, Walter Williams. But Walter Williams is, as speaking as a historian, wrong. Brother Walter, in his book, relies on this suggestion by Patricia Crone from Princeton, the most staunch critic of the historicity of Islamic tradition. And she's a good scholar. She is right to be skeptical of the historicity of Islamic tradition. Brother Walter relies on her to make his claim that Prophet Muhammad didn't exist, but he misuses her. What Patricia Crone actually says on the matter, Muslim literary sources for Muhammad's life only begin around 750, 800 CE, Common Era, some 4 to 5 generations after his death. And few Islamicists today take them to be straightforward historical accounts. For all of that, we probably know more about Muhammad than we do about Jesus. And we certainly have the potential to know a great deal more. There is no doubt that Muhammad existed. Occasional attempts to deny it notwithstanding. His neighbors in Byzantine Syria got to hear of him within 2 years of his death at the latest. The evidence of Greek text would mean that Muhammad is the only founder of a world religion attested in a contemporary source. This source gives us pretty irrefutable evidence that he was an historical figure. Moreover, an Armenian document, probably written sometime or shortly after 661, identifies him by name and gives a recognizable account of his monotheistic teaching. Robert Holden, seeing Islam as others see him, a compilation of 120 non-Muslim sources attested to the rise of Islam. Holden says non-Muslim and archaeological testimonies, when carefully supplemented by Muslim evidence, can give us some interesting insights into the first century of Islam. In the early 640s, the historical record alerts us to a new phenomenon disrupting the familiar course of the late antique world. Arabs, equipped with a new name, Hajarun, and a new era, were overrunning regions as far afield as Egypt and Iraq. Non-Muslim writers of the first century AH attested it was strictly monotheistic and iconoclastic. That is, that Heroes had a sanctuary, the house of God, of Abrahamic association called Kaaba, towards which they prayed and at which they sacrificed and reverenced they stoned. And also that they followed Muhammad, who was their guide and instructor, whose tradition and laws they fiercely upheld. This is also confirmed by archaeology for the period beginning 691, when inscriptions proclaiming allegiance to Muhammad and his religion are found in abundance on buildings, milestones, rocks, coins, papyri, textiles, and so on. This is one such piece
world presents is embellished. It is full of fictions, but that does not mean that the historical figure himself did not exist. He did. Now, I understand that Paul's description of the Abrahamic story as allegory. Whatever that means, it has no bearing on the question of the historicity of Prophet Muhammad. Whether Abraham himself ever existed or not is irrelevant here. The reason some try to make him relevant is because Muslims today trace Muhammad's genealogy back to Abraham via Ishmael. And so if Abraham didn't exist, Ishmael didn't exist, thus Muhammad didn't exist. No, that genealogy tracing Muhammad back to Abraham through Ishmael is a later Muslim fabrication trying to make biblical genealogy fit Arabian genealogy. We can discard with that henceforth. It has no bearing on the historicity of Prophet Muhammad. All of the empirical evidence confirms Muhammad is a real man, and the history said he was a real black African man, an Arab descendant from those original Africans who went to the race. Those black Muslims, Muhammad and the early Muslims, well, post-Muhammad, his early black followers, those who spread Islam throughout the world, they were black Muslims from Arabia. They were not white folks masquerading as Arabs. All of the sources describing the Muslim conquerors in the east, the Tomb 10, the sources describing the Muslim conquerors in the west, the Song of Roland, all describe these Muslim conquerors as black. They went into Egypt, and my brother, Dr. Ray Haggins, gives a wonderful lecture on Islam and the Arab invasion of Egypt. I recommend that lecture to everyone. It's a wonderful lecture. Allow me, beloved, in the spirit of brotherhood, to offer an historical caveat correction. Those Muslims who entered Egypt were not white Arabs. They were the black Arabians. Prophet Muhammad himself instructed his followers, when you conquer Egypt, be kind to its Copts, the indigenous Egyptians. Be kind to its Copts because they have a covenant of protection with you and kinship. Rahim, the term used, kinship, means the Copts and the Arabians have a genealogical relation to each other. So the prophet instructed the Muslims, when you unseat the Byzantine oppressors of our black people in Egypt, be kind to the Copts because they are same family. They are peoples. The black Arabians who entered Egypt was of the same family of the black Copts that they found in Egypt. Thus, Mamadou Tindani points out correctly, the African Copts no doubt saw the African Muslims from Arabia as liberators. After all, they were kin and kin. This was black Muslims overthrowing a white power structure in a black land. These black Muslims did not abuse the Copts. They took the churches from the white Christians, the Chaldeans, and turned them over to the Copts. They would not allow the Chaldean or white church that oppressed the Copts, would not allow them to appoint a patriarch. As long as of the 16th century. Nor was there ever an Arab conquest of Mozambique or any other East African territory. The Arabs in these areas, who became great religious leaders, arrived as everywhere else individually and settled in peacefully. The Arab conquest, dear to sociologists, are necessary to their theories, but did not exist in reality. The primary reason for the success of Islam in Black Africa, with one exception, consequently stems from the fact that it was propagated peacefully at first by solitary Arabo Berber travelers to certain black kings and nobles, who then spread it about them to those under their jurisdiction. Only during our Moorabid movement of the first half of the 11th century did some Berbers attempt to impose Islam on Black Africa by force of arms. During the Great Arab Conquest, general history of Africa, during the Great Arab Conquest, there was certainly no attempt to convert the Ahlul Kitab, Jews and Christians, by force. Generations of scholars have clearly demonstrated that the image of the Muslim Arab warrior with sword in one hand and the Quran in the other belongs to the realm of mythology. I will close by quoting from my brother. I will let him say it himself. It is, if I may, a statement of profound wisdom. But there would be no church.
So this religion of Christianity started making God have partners that was equal with him. So guess what happened in the year 622 AD?
Say it for Brother Wesley Haggins. Come on, y'all. Come on. Yo, that was powerful, powerful, powerful. Okay. Brother Ray, you gonna come on the stage or you gonna do it from down there?
Nah, he gonna come up there.
You come up here?
You finished. Yeah.
I say it for Brother Ray.
Motto Tech family. Everybody doing all right? Y'all look absolutely beautiful to me. Wow. Look at all my people. Wow. Hey, what's happening? Before I go any further, I apologize for being late. It was strictly beyond my control. Man, traffic was like crazy. I talked to several of our people from the Washington area, and they told me that the traffic was like that all the way from Washington, D.C. And I am so honored that they came such a great distance.
Yes, sir.
Anyhow, because I would have turned around and went back home.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's been a long time since I've driven in New York, and it's stressful, man.
Yes, sir, it is.
It is. So I kind of need to do something because I didn't get to do it yet when I came in here. So if you would just bear with me for a moment, just let your spirit, if you will, join in with me as I honor those upon whose shoulders we stand. I always begin everything I have to say anytime we gather in the African Village for fellowship. I begin with these words. O ancestors, blacker than 1,000 midnights, African ancestors, it is to you that we, your children, give respect and honor. O ancestors, we call upon you and we welcome you in this place. African ancestors, let your presence fill this place. O ancestors who have been purposely excluded from the history books, purposely excluded from the history books, so that the world would not know of your greatness. Our African ancestors who gave civilization to the world. Our African ancestors who gave the arts to the world. Our African ancestors who gave music to the world. Our African ancestors who gave the sciences to the world. Our African ancestors who gave mathematics to the world. Our African ancestors who gave medicine to the world. Our African ancestors who gave literature to the world. Our African ancestors who gave philosophy to the world. Our African ancestors who gave God consciousness to the world. Oh, ancestors, we thank you for devoting your life to make a future for us. Your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren now stand with us. Strengthen us, guide us, teach us, and protect us from the snare of our enemies. Rise up, O African ancestors, and let our enemies be scattered, and give us the wisdom and the boldness to deal with our oppressors and those who would hinder the liberation and empowerment of our people. Rise up, O African ancestors, and live in us. And we will not fail to honor you. We will not fail to respect you. We will not fail to hear you. And we will not betray you. And to that we say, Ashe. Ashe. If you agree with that, put those black hands together. to our ancestors and the Almighty who have made it possible for us to be here today. And also to the elders among us. I honor you today. My good friend, my brother, my advisor, bulwark that I can lean upon. And we have in our presence with us today one who's been out here in the struggle a long time.
Yes, sir.
And that is none other than our elder, Professor James Small. He's in the back. We honor you, man. Honor you, man. Yes. To, again, as I said, all of our elders and all of our children, if we have any children present, I honor you as well. Okay, because you guys got to carry this on. So you're very important to us, very important to us. Also to a brother who I just met. We just met, we've had telephone conversations recently, and it means a lot when you can feel somebody's spirit, you know, and that is none other than the brother who you just finished listening to, Dr. Wesley Muhammad. To my brother, Sonetta, where'd he go? He was right there. He's already ran outside to Sonetta, who I'm gonna start calling Sonetta Don King.
You won't be the first.
Don King of the Liberation Movement. You know, Sonetta's always putting something together. I have a question to ask, and that is, what are we supposed to be accomplishing here today so I know where we're going? Truth? That's what we're supposed to be accomplishing? Look at somebody next to you and say, truth is relative.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Clarity. According to who? Clarity. According to who? What are we supposed to be accomplishing? Let me be very, very honest and candid with you guys, if you don't mind. Now, you know, how many of y'all listen to me have heard me before? Wow, man, that's an honor. Look at the hands. Okay, well, if you've heard me before, you know I don't like biting my tongue.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so can I speak to you guys from my heart?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good, good. Here you come. Hey, man, just talking about you. He stepped back out. All right. Brother Sonetta called me about 20 times. And he said, Brother Ray, we need you here. We want you here. Come speak in you know, Manhattan. New York loves you, man. New York loves you. You know, New York loves you. They said, brother, we just want you to come speak. You can come speak about anything you want to come speak about. We just want you to come speak. And I said, okay, brother, I'd be honored to do that. Anything I want to speak about. And after the arrangements were made, he called me back. He said, Brother Ray, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask Brother Wesley Muhammad to come in. And I'll put both of y'all on. You know? Okay. Well, once a commitment is made, you try to keep your word. You know? But honestly speaking, brothers and sisters, I don't know how to do this.
No, sir.
I really don't.
No, sir.
I don't know how to do this because whenever I stand up and lecture, I always ask the question. Oh, before I go any further, let's do what I always do. Since I don't have this on the screen, everybody take your, y'all know, you've been watching. All right, everybody look at that circle. Do this and make a circle. And say these words. Say these words. Say, the space inside this circle.
The space inside this circle
Represents my realm of knowledge.
my realm of knowledge.
All that I think I know.
All that I think I know
About whatever I think I know.
about whatever I think I know
Is represented
is represented
right here within this circle.
within this circle.
I must keep in mind That there is more to know than what is within the circumference of my awareness. Now, do y'all understand what I just said? If you do, look at somebody next to you and say, unless you are God, you don't know everything. Miss you, man. Brother, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
It was very informative.
Thank you.
Very informative. I learned something listening to you.
Thank
You so much for that.
Thank you.
I appreciate your work.
And I yours.
Huh?
And I yours.
I know, I feel you, brother. I feel you. Some might have come today because some of us have that mentality of go get 'em.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, brothers and sisters, let me share something with you. I honestly do not do the thing of proving other people wrong.
Yes, sir.
So if you came for that today, I gladly disappoint you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't do that. Let me tell you what I do. Let me tell you what I do. I try to present facts to the best of my ability as I have learned them, as I have researched them, so that you can take it and think about it, and if it doesn't fit for you, then I'll share.
Yes, sir.
It fits for me.
Yes, sir.
What I try to do is engage in activity and presentations that will take our people from whatever background you're from, and unite us as a people. Whenever I go to do a lecture, I say, how many Christians are in the room? People put their hands up because Christians are there. As much as I tell folks Jesus Christ never existed, they still come. I say, how many Muslims are present? How many Hebrew Israelites are present? How many Nawabians are present? And people from all of these philosophies hold their hand up. And after we go through that whole thing, I say, now I'm glad y'all put your hand up, but let me tell you what I see in front of me. All I see are Africans. I don't do the label thing anymore.
Yes, sir.
You follow what I'm saying? I don't let anybody label me. I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Muslim. I'm an African.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
And to be honest with you, you know, some of us are getting so deep into that now that you should call yourself an African because the continent Africa was named after Scipio Africanus. And so it's really inappropriate to call yourself an African too. And then I tell people, I said, okay, man, stop being that deep, please. Don't be deep like that. If I say I'm an Antibulanian, most folk are going to say, you a what? What is that? Because most of our people don't even know what Antibulan is. So when I say I'm an African, people can relate to a landmass. You follow what I'm saying? And they know that this is what I'm talking about. I made a couple of little simple notes here. Brother, I don't really have anything at all to challenge you with. Now let me tell you why I say that. Because, man, after matriculating through academic institutions and becoming an academician myself, I've concluded, and y'all anybody got something to write with? If not, just repeat this after me, or put it in your little, what do you call this thing? Little electronic thing. PDA, iPod, whatever you want to call it, okay? Machine, yeah. But just, everybody kind of just make note of this. Right? Say this after me. He who controls the printed page controls the thinking of the age. Say that again. He who controls the printed page
He who controls the printed page
controls the thinking of the age.
controls the thinking of the age. That's
Brother
right.
Ray, what are you saying?
That's right.
I could set up my projector or plug in my thumb drive and show you a whole lot of printed stuff.
Yes, sir.
And the only thing that printing is doing is presenting someone's commentary. Doesn't mean it's right. It's just presenting somebody's commentary. Everybody has a right to their opinion.
Yes, sir.
And everything is true in literature. See, it took me almost $275,000 worth of spending money and reading books and everything to realize, damn, I got everybody's mind but my own.
Come on, brother.
Is this making sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There was a lady that was very dear to me. She did not get to do 1 month of the research that I had done. All of the reading that she thought she was doing in her lifetime might have totaled a good 30 days of my academia. That lady was my great-grandmother. Her name was Alice Walker. And you know what? Alice Walker had more wisdom
Yes, sir.
and more spiritual intuition
Yes, sir.
than I don't know if I'll ever have it. And I got 5 degrees, and she didn't even have a certificate for getting out of elementary school. So what am I saying? He who controls the printed page controls the thinking of age. I have, over the last 38 years, I have, how old are you, Wesley?
37.
37, okay, wow. So, cool. Over the last 38 years, I have presented arguments from literature and what somebody wrote in a book. Are y'all following me? And I still hasn't seen that it has united us as a people.
Yes, sir.
Dr. John Henry Clark talked to me last night.
Come on, brother. Come on, brother.
And he gave me a message to give to y'all. Would y'all let me share with you what he said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He said, young brother, tell them for me that after we spend all this time orangutanning about with intellectualisms, we still ain't got no money. We still ain't got no power. We who have gone on have given our lives for the unity of our children. And we're watching you divide yourselves even more, taking sides with one another. Tell them that we said it has to stop. And in tears, I promised him I would say that. We don't know how to deal with spirits as a people. What do you mean, Brother Ray? I'm not talking about demons, y'all. I ain't talking about that. I ain't into that demon Roman Catholic Church stuff. Look at somebody next to you and say, Brother Ray
Brother Ray.
is a therapist. I mean, for real. I'm a doctor.
Yes, sir.
I don't know the first thing about gangsterism.
No, sir.
And I see the spirit of gangsterism entering among us under the disguise of liberation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it's got to stop.
Yes, sir.
Brothers and sisters, I don't do what I do to build my crew. I don't do what I do to gain a following. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I don't do what I do to have my people come support me because I know you bringing your people. Every last one of y'all in here that's chocolate like me, you are my people.
That's right. That's right.
Every last one of y'all. I believe that I came forth from my mother's womb to do the very thing that the counterintelligence program says they must not lie.
Come on, brother. Yes, sir. Come on, brother. Yes, sir.
And that is to be one who is anointed by God to unify the people. If I can't bring us together, I'd rather not be in this at all. Am I making sense, y'all? I really honestly don't give a damn.
Come on.
At this point in my development, did y'all hear how I just said that? What that means is I learned a little bit more since last week.
That's right. That's right.
Okay?
Come on, brother. That's right.
At this point in my development, I really don't care if you are a Christian, if you are a Muslim, if you are a Hebrew Israelite, if it's working for you and it's helping you to make it throughout each day and you are achieving in life successfully with the paradigm of thought that you have, Ashe. You gotta understand something, man. Somebody sent me an email the other day that said these words. They said, Brother Ray, now since I've learned that Jesus doesn't exist, what am I supposed to do?
Come on.
My assignment is not to snatch the rug from under your feet, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You'll fall back and hit your head. My assignment is to pull the rug gently. The rug of the lies that we have been fed.
Yes, sir.
If I pull that rug gently, perhaps you'll have enough sense to look down and realize, damn, this thing is moving.
Yes, sir.
I better step off. Man, I made a couple of points here. I wrote this down. I hope this makes sense. Christians. Do we have any Christians here, by the way? Any Christians? None? Not all? Okay, there's some hands. Great, good, okay. I mean, keep honest. Hey, look, I don't disrespect that. Cool. I was there. And trust me, Christianity did not make a mess of my life. I am the man that I am today because of the foundational roots that I gained in Christianity. I don't say that to give Christianity credit. I say it because I was a Christian at that point in my development. You follow what I'm saying? Everybody say this. Christians. Come on, say it like you mean it. Christians need for Jesus to have existed.
Yeah,
Real simple. If you are a Christian, then you need for Jesus to have existed. Everybody say Muslims. Say it now, come on, say it. Muslims need for Muhammad to have existed. Keep it real. Everybody say Hebrews need for Abraham to have existed. You know why? Because all of these character figures are paramount in their belief system. Hindus need for Krishna to have existed. Buddhists need for Buddha to have existed. Any belief system you want to identify with has its founding personality. And that belief system does not exist without that founding personality. It just so happens I don't subscribe to any of that anymore.
Yes, sir.
So I don't need for Jesus to have existed. I don't need for Muhammad to have existed. I don't need for Krishna to have existed. You know why? Because if they did or did not exist, that ain't really got any doggone thing to do with me having the power I have today.
Yes, sir. That's true.
Are y'all grabbing what I'm saying?
Tell them again.
Y'all hold up your circle. Come here and say something. Hold it up, hold it. In fact, you might want to run out. Are they selling hula hoops out there? Let me show you what I'm talking about. In the last, maybe 5 months, I haven't even taught theology. You know why? I find out that theology and philosophy and people's opinions and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to turn this thing off for me. And people's opinions and all that kind of stuff is all a part of the distraction to keep us as a people from getting to where we're supposed to be. The only book that I have held up lately is called the Uniform Code, Commercial Code. When I stand up at the African Village, I hold up the Uniform Commercial Code and I say, y'all, this is now the Word of God. You know why? Because it doesn't make sense for us to talk about those things that don't give us power. Here's the other thing I want you to say. Now, don't ever forget this. Say, intellectual masturbation. Intellectual masturbation. Let me restate. Let me put this in so I can best describe where I think we are. Everybody say this. We are so busy. Intellectually masturbating. That we're getting caught up in egotistical ejaculation.
Yes, sir.
Did y'all get that? Imagine that in your mind now. Intellectually masturbating so much you get caught up in egotistical ejaculations, and we think we're getting somewhere because we do that. And after all that is over, guess what we do? We go out those doors and we listen to each other tear each other down. Okay, we go out those doors and we take sides. We go out those doors. Some of y'all gonna go out the doors and you're gonna say, well, you know what? You know, I'm a little bit disappointed, Brother Ray. I thought he was gonna bring it.
You are bringing it. You are bringing it, man. You are bringing it.
Listen, you know, I know how the counterintelligence program works. Some of you know how the counterintelligence program works. I don't want anything to happen to where as we feed into it, because see, some of us in here are mature, but there are too many of us who are immature. You follow what I'm saying? Oh, by the way, I told him I'd give you greetings. Professor Griff told me to tell all y'all hotel. And he wanted to come, but he had a I said, brother, don't go through all that. Don't go through all that. You know, I'll just give you greetings for you. And he actually said to Captain Muhammad, he was with us, and I don't want to feed negative energy into a name, so I don't want to go there, but I will say this. He said to Captain Muhammad that a certain individual called him to call Captain Muhammad as my bodyguard to call a truce.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I said, call a truce for what?
Yes, sir.
I ain't at war with nobody.
That's right. That's right.
I'm not busy. I'm not fighting anybody. What am I calling truce
That's right.
about? I don't have, there's nothing to call truce about. Man, I'm just trying to unite. I'm trying to tell the truth and get us together. That's all I'm trying to do. Now, I know that the devil, if you don't mind me going back to church right quick, I know that the devil don't want us united.
That's right. That's right. Yes, sir.
But damn it, the devil is in for a fight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, he is.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because I got up this morning to unite us.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to get up tomorrow morning, by the grace of God, to unite us some more.
Yes, sir.
You know, so all the way here, my staff will tell you, all the way here, I said to them, I said, you know, like, I don't know what people are coming for. Because, I mean, this thing has been almost promoted like the Thriller in Manila.
Yes, sir.
What are they looking for? Are they looking for me and this brother here to prove each other wrong? What is to be achieved?
Shame on them.
But intellectual masturbation resulting in egotistical ejaculation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we still ain't one.
No, sir.
Y'all got what I'm saying? You know, so brother, I understand everything you said. And more than what you said, I heard your heart. And I agree with you.
And I agree with you. And I agree with you.
That's what this is about, man. Look at your neighbor and say, we have to start. Now, you know what's really deep? See, y'all got to bear with me, but I am a spiritual leader. We traditionally call him a pastor. And one of the things that I have the gift, and I'm glad that I have it, I have the gift of being able to stand here and read faces. And some of you sitting right there, right now, are mad as hell. You know why? Because I'm not feeding into what you had in your mind.
Yes, sir.
Out of respect to our elders, you know, Professor Small and I talked earlier this week, and I told him, I said, Elder, trust me, man, it ain't gonna be what folk think it's gonna be.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't do that.
Yes, sir.
Some of you sitting there frowning at me right now, you might as well go and put a smile on your face.
Turn that frown upside down.
Because I have an assignment to carry out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that assignment is to be an instrument in the hands of God.
Yes, sir.
To bring us together. And if you don't like it,
So be it. So be it.
then thank you. Thank you. That's all I got to say.
Let's hear it from Brother Dr. Ray Haggins. Say it for Dr. Ray.
Black tie, family. Black tie, family. Let's give Dr. Ray another hand. brothers and sisters. Dr. Wesley Muhammad is a bad man. I think I'm ready to take my shahada. Dr. Ray Haggins knew exactly what this was about today, family. I gotta tell you this, because Dr. Ray Haggins knew 2 months in advance. We sent him memos telling him that this was going to be a discussion about Islam. Is Islam an African religion, or is it not an African religion? Dr. Ray Haggins told me I would love to challenge that brother on that right there. So now you can't come in here and act like you don't know what this was about and try to make me look like a goddamn fool. Come on, man. 2 months in advance, the people came to hear you talk about, is Islam an African religion? Dr. Wesley Muhammad is a bad man.
Question and answer.
Come on, man. That's the BS right there. And I know my people came out to hear that discussion. Because if you didn't want to talk about it, I could have easily got somebody else to deal with that topic.
Question and answer.
You ain't got to take my damn money and then come say, oh, I don't want to deal with that. But you knew in advance, man. Come on now. Damn right, I'm mad as hell. Because that's what we were supposed to be dealing with right now. If you ain't want to deal with the topic, all you had to do is say, Brother Sarnetta, I don't want to deal with Islam right now. And I would have respectfully went and got another brother to deal with that. What we're going to do is open up for questions and answers. But Dr. Wesley is a bad man. Shut it down at the beginning of the goddamn lecture. I'm going to take my shahada. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah wa barakatuh. God damn, man. Yo, man. We're going to open up for questions and answers right here. Don't come here trying to make something that look like I'm the one starting. Nah, brother. This is a damn discussion, man.
If you got questions for Brother Muhammad or questions for Dr. Hagen, alright, but we got to get some order for the questions. So can I get some security to organize the people so that we can ask these brothers some questions?
Walaikum salam, sir.
Is this the line for the questions over here?
No, it's got to be over there with the mic, the speaker, man.
Oh, okay. We need the people to get on this side here. If you got questions, please line up over here. Please, for the respect of everyone here, have your questions brief. Don't give us a long story. Don't give us another lecture. Do you want to say something before we open the floor for questions? Brother Muhammad wants to address you. Dr. Muhammad wants to address you real quick, family. Can we bring it down a couple of decibels? Can we have your attention? Can we have your attention? Can we have your attention? Brother Muhammad wants to address the audience.
Allow me, if you will,
We have your attention, please. We have your attention.
I don't know where this particular evening is going from this point. If Dr. Ray Haggins then I too am agreeable. If for whatever reason Dr. Ray Haggins is uninclined to participate because of the change in direction that this evening abruptly took, then I too will be disinclined to participate. I must say, Dr. Ray Haggins, most of us who have heard him, have followed him, knew he was a man of wisdom, knew that he was full of the spirit of the liberation of our people. Some of you, this may not have been a revelation, but not knowing him intimately, this was quite a revelation for me. Dr. Ray Haggins is a man of profound integrity. He clearly is not driven by ego. He clearly is not driven by popular perception. He recognizes his strengths, his weakness, as we all should. I declare, see, on the lecture circuit, and I'm finished. I'm not going to lecture, but I'm going to say this. On the lecture circuit, it's down, especially the black lecture circuit, it's dominated by egotistical ejaculators who can't admit they don't know. And even when they don't know, they dig their heels in the ground and swing wildly, don't care who they hit. It takes great integrity to say, I don't know. You got it. I honor you, Dr. Ray Haggins. The decision for a Q&A is yours. I co-sign what decision my brother makes. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Ray. You in? Okay. You want to join us on stage? We only have 2 mics, so you and Brother Wesley are gonna share 1 mic. But family, at the outset, when I spoke to you in the beginning, did I say we were not here to prove one side right or wrong? I said we were here to clear up any misconceptions we might have had, to dispel any confusion we might have had, and hopefully that we could walk out of here with a healthier respect for one another. Because like the brother said, battle lines have been drawn between us, Moors, Kemetic scholars, Hebrews, whatever. And those lines are drawn not by us, but by others to keep us apart. You understand? So like I said in the beginning, we weren't here, and I don't think anybody was disappointed. You know, I believe the brothers got, you know, exactly what they wanted here today. You understand what I'm saying? Because before you came, we had discussed why we were here. We already had that discussion, why we were here. And it was for a scholarly pursuit, and that was it. Okay? All right, so I'm gonna hand this mic. Who's gonna, Seville, my brother, can you handle the questions here, all right?
Please keep them brief.
In the spirit of my ancestors, I'm Queen Mother Dr. Wesley. I represent 55 million African descendants of the Middle Passage of the Transatlantic Ocean of enslavement of the people. I'm just returning from Africa for 4 days in the Middle Passage. In the sacredness of my ancestors, the question that I raised to the 2 warriors, how do you, since I'm a woman carrying the culture and the tradition and the spirituality of my people, how do you assist me in anchoring in the middle passage of the sacred waters in Goree Island as a safe haven for our young people who are killing themselves and unknowing who they are? How would you help me to anchor them in a healing process spiritually in Goree Island?
He said, I'm the elder, so he let me answer first. I think, sister, that the solution to uniting our young people is we must first set the example. And when I say that we must first set the example is no matter what we say, no matter what we do, as far as telling them that they need to unite themselves and stop fighting, stop the violence, blah, 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 blah. As long as we have separation through facets and sects, for such as, let's use the church for example. You know, we talk about the gangs. The gangs are only patterning after us in the church. You got a gang called the Methodist Church, you got a gang called the Baptist Church. And they're right across the street from each other. And they can't even speak to each other. So until we first get rid of these divisions that we carry righteously, there's not even a hope of our young people, because young people are looking for an example. And who do they look to but us? You see what I'm saying? So we have to start. I think when they see us, they'll pattern after us. It won't happen overnight, but they'll pattern after us. And over perhaps the next 20 years, we'll see a difference.
I agree with this sister, Brother Dr. Ray. You know, us old religious folks are the OGs, the original gangsters. And correcting that up here will facilitate correcting that in our youth. I only want to add this. I think part of the problem, beloved, is as a people, we are completely desensitized to human life. The demonstrable evidence is the lack of a community-wide outcry over a 7-year-old black girl that was gang raped by our people. And the outcry is minimal. So we have been desensitized to human suffering. So you opening your question by reference to the middle passage, I think is profoundly important. We have to be resensitized to black suffering. Historically and currently. And so long as we are shell-shocked, we are numb to human suffering, then none of this matters. Somehow what I think the contribution we can make to the educational process, in order for it to not be intellectual masturbation, has to have social impact. So Islam an African religion is only relevant if the answer to that question, whatever it is, can in some way have a social, cultural, community impact. If it can somehow heal some of the pathologies of our people. I firmly believe that Islam, as taught by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, is relevant. It's not just because it may or may not be theologically true. Its relevance is that it has healing power for black people. I do not say it is the only thing that has healing power. The African village has healing power for black people. So my contribution, my zeal in this issue is because I firmly believe that Islam, true Islam, that African Islam, that black Islam that was reintroduced us that that's what we need more than anything else. Healing for all of the many pathologies that we suffer from as a community.
I have a humble and curious question for Dr. Ray Haggins. I have heard you openly and proudly state on numerous occasions that you are a member of the Fraternal Order of Police. Is that correct?
I think that's irrelevant to this discussion.
We're not here for that.
No, it's just part of my question.
That's what organizations I belong to have nothing to do with this.
Can I ask a question?
I mean, I thought your question would have something to do with what we're talking about.
But let me ask a question right quick and bring it to this. I'm gonna let you get it, brother. Dr. Ray Hagen, is Islam an African tradition? Is Islam an African way of life, brother?
That's what we want.
That's what the people came out to know. And right now, I don't think you answered that. So I want to ask you, is Islam an African origin? Was Dr. Wesley Muhammad correct? That's all we're saying. Because if so, then we need to stop saying we need to say assalamu alaikum. That's all I'm talking about. So is Islam an African way of life?
Would you relax? I think what we're talking about is linguistics. I think what we're talking about is what do you call semantics? I think we're getting blown way out of proportion over semantics. What does Islam mean? Again, didn't I just say earlier that in order for Hotep, too much talking going on. Didn't I just say earlier that I must learn to understand and hear what you mean from your heart? Didn't I just say that?
Yeah.
Okay. See, what matters to me is, and let me answer the question directly, then I'll come on. Am I correct by understanding that when I say Islam, that means bowing to the will of God? Is that what Islam means? That's what it means, yes, sir. Okay. That's what I've been taught that it means. Do Africans bow to the will of God?
Absolutely. We don't know.
I mean, isn't that an African thing? I mean, isn't that what got us to where we are as a people, bowing to the will of God? Are we talking about what has been made a mess of, what we understand to be the religion that's been misrepresented? I don't know. I don't know. What I do know is that I got too many Muslims. Follow me. What I can speak to this. What I can say is there are too many Muslims that are like family to me, and we're saying the same thing. Okay? They are African because they look like me. Now, I do have a lecture out there called Islam and the Arab Invasion of Egypt. My brother alluded to it. And I thought I made it very clear the program that would divide us. I have another lecture called Christianity and Islam, a strategy of division. Because of what the religions teach us. My solution to it is we step away from religion, period, and be the spiritual people we are, and we won't get hung up in these idiosyncrasies.
Neither of those questions were directed on me, so I'm not going to comment. Only, but I do want to say this. I would ask, don't ask any personal questions. Don't ask any, I'm a fireman. If I see somebody throw a rock at his window, then I'm going to try to take strategic defensive action. Don't ask me any personal questions. He was very diplomatic with his answer. I'm not in that
academic discussion. Ask us history questions. Ask us questions of the community. Don't ask this man any personal questions. Don't ask me any personal questions. I'll tell you to go to hell.
All right, my question is from one African in the movement to another African in the movement. And I'm still going to ask my question. My question is this, Brother Ray. Humbly, I just would like to know, I'm a young brother and I'm curious. I have an article here that says that the Fraternal Order of Police is boycotting any industry, any entertainer, any actors, anyone who supports our freedom fighter, Mumia Abu-Jamal, anyone. I have another article which 2 senators in New Jersey with the backing of the Fraternal Order of Police are pushing State Resolution 150 and asking Obama to bring our warrior queen, Sister Assata Shakur, back to America, extradite her here, and we liberated her. So my question to you is this. As a brother, I would like to know if the Fraternal Order of Police, an organization that you are openly and proudly a member of, is backing a resolution to bring our freedom fighter, Assata Shakur, back to America when she was liberated, and they're boycotting Mumia Abu-Jamal, one of our other freedom fighters. My question is, how can I believe that you are proudly a member of an organization like that and a Pan-African nationalist like myself? That's my question. How can you be with them and with us at the same time?
There's an adage that I grew up on, young brother, and it says these words. You know a tree by the fruit that it bears. Okay? A lot of people ask me questions about organizations that I am a member of. I am a member of well over 50-some different organizations. And in every last one of these organizations, there are people in those organizations that are anti-African. There are people in those organizations that are very conscious Africans. Unfortunately, the Fraternal Order of Police has the reputation that it has. I can't speak to that. Are you asking me, do I have a background in law enforcement? Of course I do. I'm a former member of the Newark Police Department. There's no secret about that. Every member of the Newark Police Department is automatically a member of the Fraternal Order of Police. There's no secret about that. Do I participate in the activities of the Fraternal Order of Police? I don't have time for that.
What you got to say now?
I'm about healing my people. And if you have heard me and listened to me, then the question that you asked should be completely insignificant. But evidently it's not, so you have a right to ask it. I don't know if I answered your question. I'm a member of many organizations that you might think are bad organizations. That don't mean that I'm bad. Okay? I mean, there's, for example, I know churches where the pastor is a pedophile. Does that mean the people who go to that church are pedophiles too? Not so. And we need to stop judging individuals because of a reputation that an organization that they may have affiliated with as a part of, brother. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
Peace and blessings. Hotel, black love, black power. Praise the Lord, hallelujah. I want to say this to both of you brothers. I came here tonight for the fire of a debate. And today it like changed my whole outlook and perception of what I came here for. And I thank you for that. Both of you brothers. Because me, myself, and my wife are the co-founders of the Casa Washington Group, which is a grassroots organization in the city of Passaic, New Jersey that fight for economic and social political empowerment for us Africans in the city of Passaic, New Jersey. What it is that basically I see that we spend too much time fighting and worrying about is Islam right or wrong, is the New Wapians right and wrong, is the Hebrew Israelites right and wrong, is the RBG right and wrong. We spend so much time with dealing with those issues than we do putting into unifying ourselves. So with that being said, with all these debates that are going on inside that, I'm not saying they're wrong, because they healthy. But at the same time, there's an old African proverb, or cliche as they want to say, that says it takes a whole village to raise a child. But when we debate back and forth, it starts deteriorating the village.
Yes.
So my question would be, if it takes a village to raise a child, then what happens when there's no more village?
The inevitable, brother, when the village no longer, let's put it this way, it reads this way in the Hosea, okay, which are scriptures taken from the Medunetta, the walls and temples and tombs of ancient Egypt. It says it this way in the book of Ippur, I believe it's in Ippur. It says, when there is no peace in the temple, God abandons it. Okay? And if God abandons the temple and there's no village, then there is no future. There are no children. And the children that do come will be totally misguided. Because they're following us, man. Yeah, they're following us.
I get a wonderful question. Let me say this. This particular discussion, Brother Sarnetto bear witness, I was insistent that the language debate is never used. That we are engaging in a dialogue. Two mutually respecting brothers are engaging in dialogue, not debate, because that term debate bring out the bloodlusters. Some of y'all in here tonight. So I specifically require the total non-use of that language, debate. Debate, because of the bloodlusters, the gladiator mentality does degenerate, does rob engagement, intellectual engagement from its value. I do believe intellectual engagement can be productive for the community. I believe the world seeing the black folk can agree to disagree without being disagreeable. That's a good look. That's a look. That look as important to the world as a black man in the Oval Office. I think we can learn from each other by these intellectual engagements only. And I said it with my engagement with my brother Nacho Tahuti. I insisted with this. These debates or dialogues are only productive if well controlled, if it's non-personal, if it's completely intellectual. Other than that, they are completely counterproductive. So I support intellectual engagements. I totally reject this gangster, gladiator, bloodlust events that have been so popular in the community.
All right, I would like to say something. Me and Sarnetto have a radio show, man, that we have on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And a lot of times brothers call up, wanting to speak on different topics. You know what I'm saying? It may be religion, it may be relationships, it may be anything dealing with the black man and woman in America. But what I notice that bothers me is that there's so much dilution in belief systems. You know what I'm saying? This is all, see, we got to remember that Willie Lynch, man, was real. You know what I'm saying? He did exist, man. You know what I'm saying? And the things that he taught, the black man and woman, the things that he caused, you know what I'm saying? Ray Haggins gives a powerful take on Willie Lynch. He's in effect when it comes to anything that doesn't cause black people to come together as one force. Because sooner or later, because this white man don't care nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? He likes the division. He likes the conflict. You know what I'm saying? And as long as we will get, joy out of one brother beating down another brother, we know that we call ourselves conscious, but we some sick individuals. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? For real, man. And that's the reality to it, man. And I was such in awe that brother, this brother, these two brothers here, man, it wanted to go that direction, but these two brothers wouldn't allow it to go that way. You know what I'm saying? So it showed you a lot about the power that both these brothers possess. And all I got to do is say black power.
I just wanted to say, I drove from Connecticut. I ain't drive here to see no fight. I know how Sanada amp it up, but I'm coming for some clarity from two people that I look at as teachers. Teacher supposed to teach. Not to say that I don't understand what you're saying, because you can't say everything outright. You gotta be subliminal, especially with some people that might be in the audience. But you said that you're a psychologist and you read the people's faces. I'm sure you could read that. It's not just bloodlust that these people want. It's clarity on should the information that this brother be giving out something that I should take into consideration and become a follower of somebody that might be a good teacher to me. Or, I understand totally COINTELPRO and all of that. I understand all of that. But there's some black people in here that's just looking for clarity, and not y'all two to bang out or nothing like that, but just some type of clarity.
First of all, dealing with history, because
First of all, history was the main tool that.
What are you unclear about?
First of all, I'm a fan of yours, and I hear things when you say Muhammad isn't, not necessarily. I'm a student, I'll say.
Okay.
And I hear you say, well, Muhammad isn't real. And if you telling me Muhammad isn't real, and he's telling me that based on the history of it, that strengthens my belief in it. It's two contradicting ideologies, two contradicting thoughts. If he's telling me that the history of it, and I understand that everybody need to know that God existed in order for them to, you saying that. But you're not really telling the people, you don't have to go into history. But if he's saying that it's built up on the history, that's what strengthens his belief.
I think I got your question. Okay, let me say it this way. All right, hopefully this is the best answer that I can give you. No one yet, to my knowledge, has produced one iota of archaeological evidence of the existence of Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, Quetzalcoatl, Zoroaster, Abraham. There's not one bit of archaeological evidence that any of this exists. Now, if you want, so really what it's going to boil, let me tell you what it's going to boil down to. It's going to boil down to what, and see, this is one of the reasons why I don't do debate things anymore, because I've been in those, and after 3 hours of debating, then somebody says, well, I choose to believe. Then you make me waste all my time, man. Because after I say what I have to say, and after my brother says what he has to say, guess what? The choice is still going to be up to you. You are going to have to choose to, notice the word I'm using, believe. It's impossible for you to know. You understand what I'm saying? And then the word believe is the word lie. In order to believe, a lie has to be. You have to believe on the microphone. You see it. Everything else that I say or my brother can say is called literary evidence. And look at somebody next to you and say anything and anybody can exist in literature. Little Red Riding Hood exists in literature. saying we as Africans need to stop leading. We need to know. Now, what do I know? Without a doubt in my mind, that God is. I can prove that to you. Watch it. Watch it. I'm going to prove that God is. Here we go. I just breathe, bro. The stuff that I just took in, Jesus didn't make it. Muhammad didn't make it. Buddha didn't make it. None of these people made that, brother. You follow what I'm saying? That is fact. That's my paradigm. Now, whether you accept that or not, you know.
All right, come on, what? I gotta check this out, Dr. Ray. 2 months in advance. No, I got to clear it up because I'm not gonna allow nobody to try to make me look like I'm bad or something. You know what I'm saying? This was a discussion. 2 months in advance, you knew that this was a discussion. Am I right or wrong?
How do you want me to say that? Like
I mean, just answer it. When I emailed you the information that this was a discussion about Islam.
What are you asking?
Not a debate. We never said this was a debate.
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
We're talking about a discussion.
I think what Brother Salmela is referring to is what I originally started off saying. And that was that when you originally called me, your words to me were, Brother Ray, Harlem wants to hear you. We miss you in Harlem. We love you, brother. We just want to hear you. And your words to me was, brother, you can come speak about whatever you want to speak about. And then you say that?
That is correct.
That's what made.
But that's a whole month ago. That's a whole month ago. When I called you, Ray, Dr. Ray, when I called you back and said, I spoke to Dr. Wesley Muhammad, I said, Dr. Wesley, if I could get Dr. Ray to have a discussion with you, would you do it? He said, of course I would do it. So I called you back. See, I called you back. I said, Dr. Ray, Dr. Wesley wouldn't mind having a discussion with you. Hold up, brother, hold up. Let me finish. Let me finish, my brother. Let me finish, because this is important. This is important. Let me finish. You called me back. We called each other back. And you said to me, out your own words, Dr. Ray Hagen, this brother don't know what the hell he's talking about. You said that to me. Now, if he don't know what he's talking about, how come you ain't get up there and teach the teachers, man? You said you watched the videos. You said you watched his videos, and this brother don't really know what he's talking about. So you got to let him go first. And that's why he went first today. I want to spare the brother. That's what you said. Right. You told me that. So don't get up there now, bump dancing and bootlegging. Come on, man. I ain't going for that one, man.
Calm down. I need you to calm down.
Black power.
That's from the elder.
Leave it alone, son. That's right. That's right. I'm your guest. Okay? Don't try to make fun of me. I'm not trying to make fun of you, brother. I'm just saying how I got here in the first place. Okay? Now, we talked, we were doing fine. Hotel, family, hotel. Hotel. I don't operate in this atmosphere, y'all. I don't do that. Okay? So, the reason why you didn't hear me recount anything the brother said is because I don't disagree with what he said. Didn't I say that? If I don't disagree with it, would me to address it. Now, the other thing is, I also said, brother, I learned something from you today. Now, I'm not going to contradict what I teach.
Sir, you don't have to.
Let me say this. Thank you, brother. Let me say this.
I think about $20 to get respect from y'all, get some knowledge, and that's
Now listen, everybody do this with me.